I don't think that it will divide the local union as such. We got a pretty close, cohesive unit.
Mr. Agee, isn't this picketing the union hall against the bylaws of your organization?
It is possible that it would be. It is possible that charges could be filed. That would be up to an individual member of the union to do so.
I understand that this group is just a fringe element. How much support do you think they're going to get?
I'm not really sure. I'll call a meeting next Tuesday night, hopefully to get at least 2/3 of the membership there to try to explain the true facts of the contract and what the alternatives are.
Do you feel this fringe element is jumping the gun?
I guess in a way, yes, and in a way, no. It's hard to say. Things have been so hectic the last few days, I would be afraid to say.
Well, you're speaking about a gentleman who spoke for Congress, and that's all the difference in the world. I'm speaking for the administration. I'm speaking for the president. I'm reiterating what Secretary Volpe said, and that the administration would prefer seeing the various states experiment with different points of view in this no fault. But the fact that the problem is so massive and remedies and reform must take place, but the administration feels that they'd like to see the states start this. Now, if they are incapable of or decline to or don't do it fast enough, there's always time for federal intervention.
Bill, do you think the president is really concerned over what's happening in Fort Worth, Texas?
Well, I doubt seriously if he knows what's happening in Fort Worth at this time. But I think he will know in the very near future. I think with the attitude that the people have in this area, I think he will soon know. Now, Senator Tower knows exactly what's going on, and he is opposed to it. And he has a lot of prestige with President Nixon. And I believe if enough people get behind this and let them know in Washington, let the president know that they are opposed to this busing as it stands now and as it was sent down from the Supreme Court, that he will get excited about it and he will do something about it. This is my belief.
Because they called the strike off before the members had a chance to vote on what they were going to get.
Had the National told you that the membership would be entitled to take a vote on it or have a say in the contract?
Yes, definitely. They said every member would vote before the strike was called off.
Do you feel that your national leadership did not make a good contract for you?
Well, that's up to each member to decide that.
Well, actually nothing can be done about this. Are you protesting because of if the same thing might come up in the future?
Yes.
At the time that we announced that we were playing the Milwaukee Bucks in Dallas, September 21, we also announced at that time that we had hopes of arranging a game with the Chicago Bulls. We're happy today to announce that those plans have come to fruition, and we will be playing Chicago here in Dallas on October 9. So this will be the second NBA game that the Chaparrals will be playing, and we still have continued hopes of arranging at least one more. Our preseason schedule is coming along quite nicely. We hope to play a total of 8 games. We have 5 scheduled now, with the hope that we can add at least one more Dallas game to the schedule. Also, we want to announce today that one of our very important players has come to terms and signed his contract for the coming season, and that's Gene Moore. I think everybody realizes that Gene is a key factor and will play a key role in any success that the Chaparrals have.
One union is gumming up the construction work at Fort Worth City Hall, specifically the plumbing works. Plumbers have been on strike since July 1st, and Fort Worth's Public Works Director Jack Graham says the original date to open the new City Hall may have to be pushed back from September 10th. The building still has no toilet or air conditioning facilities. Both are considered essentials, especially since the windows of the new building are constructed not to open. Furnishings for the building will still be moved in beginning August 15th, but if the plumber strike continues beyond August 15th, Fort Worth City employees expecting to move from the current 33-year-old offices to new, shiny surroundings will be disappointed. Graham's office is still holding on to the September 10th opening of the $7 million project, but now with a big maybe attached. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
There is agreement between the administration and Congress as to the need for no-fault insurance. The only dispute as to the program being advocated is the methodology of achieving a reform of our automobile insurance system. It is the judgment of Congress that their desire to have a federal bill that creates some kind of national uniformity in the insurance reparation system will prevail over the administration's approach of saying, states, we need no fault, but you on an individual state-by-state basis enact whatever plan you determine to be desirable. We feel that the patchwork approach will give way and that the national approach will prevail in the deliberations in Congress.
What we were trying to do in the laboratory is to grow the virus in the brains of suckling mice so that we could prepare antigen to detect infection in the patient. The patient manifests infection by producing antibody, and it's necessary to have antigen prepared from the virus itself in order to detect this antibody, and this tells the doctor that the patient has been suffering from, say, an illness such as VEE.
Now, the V, of course, is not really dangerous to humans as such. There's very few deaths attributed to it throughout the world. What about the St. Louis strain?
Well, the overall mortality in St. Louis is around 10%. That is, 10% of patients presenting to the hospital will eventually die from St. Louis. And in VEE, it's much, much less.
How much of a problem do we have here in Dallas on the St. Louis strain?
Well, last summer, Dr. Robert Haley and myself went into Roosevelt Heights, a population of people in which there's recurrent flooding each spring with the advent of spring floods. And we led members of this particular population group and determined that 15% overall of the population had antibodies to St. Louis encephalitis virus. The other thing that we found, Mr. Mayo, was that the old had a higher incidence of antibodies than the younger people, and this seemed to us to be indicative of the fact that St. Louis virus had affected members of this community many times in the past rather than just once, say in 1966.
Ticket lines were up at 6 o'clock this morning at Southern Pacific. The United Transportation Union is asking for a 42% wage increase over a period of 42 months. But that isn't the major issue. The workers mainly want an ease in work rules. Those demands have proved to be the major stumbling block in negotiations between the two other rails on strike, Southern Railway and Union Pacific. The four railroads on strike now represents 20% of the nation's rail industry, or 120,000 workers. Although the dispute involves all of the nation's 73 major lines, this is the first time the union has used a selective strike procedure. A recent federal court ruling okayed the strike of a few railroads at a time to reach a national settlement. The United Transportation Union claims the work reforms now being considered by the railroads would eliminate many jobs and cut the earnings of rail workers. This is the major dispute that has to be worked out. The 4 railroads now being tied up in the strike will be joined next Friday by 6 other railroads if a settlement is not reached by then. Santa Fe is included in Friday's strike plan by the union. The pressure would be felt locally should Santa Fe be struck in U.S. mail service, with Southern Pacific and Santa Fe carrying the bulk of the mail in this area. About 1.5 million commuters and the coal industry will be the hardest hit due to today's developments in the strike. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
Documented samples from various geological features within the area of the landing site. We might also add that a primary objective is to remain in lunar orbit for 6 days with the command and service modules, gathering scientific data around the moon with the scientific instrument module in the command and service module.
I'm probably the oldest rookie in the program, but looking forward very eagerly to this trip, because I think it's going to be certainly one of the greatest missions to date, and certainly one of the most complicated.
The experiments that we're carrying are basically geochemical experiments, and with these experiments we hope to be able to map the surface of the moon, correlating that with the rocks that we get from the surface of Hadley Rill and with some of the rocks that we've had on previous flights.
This isn't just a beauty contest, it's a job interview, and the girls selected here today won't get crowns and roses, they'll get white Stetson hats and seating charts. These girls are applying for jobs as Texettes, the new usher corps of the Texas Stadium in Irving, home of the championship Dallas Cowboys, North Texas State, Bishop College, and other events. The primary duty of the girls will be to show the customers to their seats. The tryouts are being held here today and tomorrow at the Regal Road Holiday Inn in Dallas from 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. The girls must be between 18 and 32 with a minimum height of 5 feet 1 inch. They can be married and even have other full-time jobs. They're required to show up today in shorts and heels or the equivalents of shorts, hot pants, and miniskirts. They'll be paid $8 per game and get special parking privileges at the stadium. They have to show up 2 hours before the event and work through halftime. At that time, if there are seats available, they can watch the game too. These girls are hoped to become as famous someday as the Rangerettes or the Apache Bells. They'll be contracted to other events in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, pop concerts, and they'll even host the Billy Graham Crusade at the Texas Stadium this fall. As the girls come here, they fill out applications in the adjacent room. Then they appear before this panel of interviews or judges where they've been given numbers. They're judged on the basis of figure, complexion, smile, voice, and poise. The general aim is for the girls to reflect the hospitality that Texas is noted for. Tom Landry's charges are working out at Thousand Oaks, California this morning, trying to learn how to do a top brand of football. And if that's what they'll have to do if they want the fans to watch them. Because with these girls showing people to their seats, it could be a pleasure to get lost at Texas Stadium this fall. Bob Crook, Channel 8 News on the Move, Dallas.
Administration presents Aeronautics.
Of course, you know, that's bad. That's been bad on all of us. You know, as you know, I'm a freshman. First year I've been down, and that's all we've heard since we've been in Austin. It's really been a blight on all of us. And I'm hoping, though, and we are told that August the 1st, we should know who's guilty and who's not. And I hope that this will come out, because the cloud that's over the entire public officials will be cleared, and we'll know where we stand and who is at fault and whether they are at fault.
Well, Danny, it was Oklahoma City last night. It's Dallas tonight to maybe a full house at the Cotton Bowl. What do you think?
We're very excited, and we're very happy about the turnout of people that have come to see us.
Is it like this at every airport?
No, not exactly.
Now look, I know it's not like this at every airport for you. You've had an experience.
Well, yeah, I was in a car accident, but I'm going to be all right for tonight anyway. I look a lot worse than I am.
Otherwise, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Didn't hurt your vocal cords.
No, not at all.
Danny, where do you go? Just as what?
Just as body.
What are you going to do to these young people tonight?
We're going to kiss them, and no, we're going to try to do a good show and make them all feel good. We're going to try to make Chuck feel better too.
Are you looking forward to this type of madhouse at the Cotton Bowl tonight?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, sure. Because, the crowd seems enthusiastic.
Yes, I would say the least. Say, everybody, they say at the Cotton Bowl tonight they're going to kiss you. What do you say about that? From Dallas Love Field with a three-dog night, this is Jim Mitchell, Channel 8 News, and we better move on. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.